At this point in time, if my name is synonymous with a company that has put out one of the biggest stinker in years, I would just simply go ahead and shut my mouth for the time being, okay? Just put a little bit of distance between the two and maybe couch my words in a little bit more distinctive language to separate myself from such a catastrophic failure, because we have a BioWare veteran, somebody who is, okay, now that might end up harkening back and just creating images in people's heads that, oh, this guy was a BioWare veteran, right? So he was around for a while, so he worked on like the Mass Effect trilogy or the good Dragon Age games, Jade Empire, the Knights of the Old Republic. Oh, no, he worked on Anthem and Mass Effect Andromeda, okay? Like, this guy's as much of a hack as the people that worked on the Veilguard, so, let's, categorize this guy appropriately, but he calls out the cruelty of fans celebrating layoffs. Celebrating layoffs? Well, okay, cool. I'm saying, gaming, entertainment, hell, work at large, okay? It should be based on meritocracy. I think that's proven time and time again the only way that we get competent and that we also see advances in any industry is when meritocracy ends up being the rule of the land and then also progresses the industry for the better. So yeah, if you're bad at your job and you're no longer at that job, sucks to suck, I guess, but that frees up a space for somebody who has the capacity to do something better. And if they can't, well, guess what? That spot once again gets freed up. So to say that you see the news of the entire writing staff for the Veilguard getting canned, I mean, dabbing up BioWare going, hey man, hey, you're moments away from your own funeral, but you're deciding to throw a couple people under the bus on the way out the door. Well, good job, okay? You're setting yourself up for potentially your last game ever in Mass Effect 5, which I don't think BioWare is ultimately going to be responsible for, but hey, you're clearing the deck of all of the debris. Good on you, okay? But that's cruelty, huh? By just simply noting when unqualified people get removed from positions that they are undeserving of, okay? You are crossing a line and you're probably attacking the wrong person anyway. No. Okay, well, at large, right? Like gaming, people are getting a little bit more attuned to it, but as it stands reasonably, like, okay, whenever Bethesda puts out a clunker, right? Let's just use, I think probably the one that everybody remembers is Fallout 76, right? Like, everybody knew that was a dud when it first came out, and I remember all of the reviews when that thing was coming out, but blaming Todd Howard ultimately for that, yeah, okay, the buck stops with the guy who's in charge, but that came down to just poor quest design, just an empty world. Like, there were so many things wrong with that where, yeah, if you want to look at the specific individuals involved in the scenario writing, the quest design, yeah, you can go ahead and point directly at those people. We're starting to see this now become a lot more prevalent with people being aware of, okay, cool, if you don't like a movie and you just blame the director, well, yeah, okay, like if there's certain things, okay, if shot composition is absolutely absurd, if the camera's not in focus, if there's certain problems like that, then yeah, okay, that's directly the director, okay? But if the script is ass and all of the characters are unlikable, you can start to blame the screenwriter and the writers on that one. People are starting to get a little bit more aware of that in movies and a little bit more so in gaming, even though gaming is kind of lagging behind on that one. So yeah, you're probably attacking the wrong person anyway. But that also has a baked-in implication that, oh, all of these people are, cheering on with all of their cruelty and attacking these people, when in actuality, an overwhelming majority of the people celebrating this stuff are just simply going, hey, good on you for getting rid of these cancerous, toxic people. Like, oh, I don't know, somebody who also used to work at BioWare losing their job because they couldn't write their way out of a wet paper bag. Probably attacking the right people by saying, good, you're no longer going to tank a project with your laughable script written in drool-soaked crayon. Let's see what this idiot has to say. Mark Darrah is a true BioWare veteran, yes, who worked at the studio for 24 years before returning in a consultancy role to shepherd Dragon Age The Veilguard over the finish line. You did a shitty job, bro. Darrah is now freelance once more and has been using some of his time to post YouTube videos about both the company's history and future in what he calls an unprecedented time for BioWare. Yeah, because it's about to close down. A once great studio that has now been reduced to, well, you've seen what they've done recently. And no, I'm not just talking about Veilguard, but also Anthem, which you worked on, Mark. Mass Effect Andromeda, which made me quit gaming for years. It was just that was an insult. I hate that game so much. But Darrah's latest video, however, was another subject. The more toxic elements of video game fandom, which are much more of an issue for developers than some players might think. In a 2023 GDC survey of game developers, 91% of respondents said abuse from players was a problem. And if they were being honest, we've seen some people go way over the top at developers online. Well, yeah, of course, you're surveying a bunch of just thin-skinned, can't say that word thanks to terms of service, but yeah, okay, you take a look at your average game developer, and these are people who spend all of their time, not really programming or anything like that, but just hopping on social media and attacking gamers. So yeah, they want to say that, criticism from people online is the biggest problem with our industry. Yeah, this is why gaming's in the state that it's in. The problem feels even more pronounced at the bigger budget end of the industry, where certain folks seem to feel that way if they're paid their money. That entitles them to open season of the people who make it. Oh yeah, exactly. You plunk down at this point in time $70. The video's called Your $70 Doesn't Buy You Cruelty. Oh my god. I'm embarrassed for this asshole on multiple levels, one of which I won't necessarily get into, mostly because he's missing a G on multiple different levels, but I digress. But if you buy a game outright, which, yeah, have now ballooned in price once again for just, a nominal improvement. If you're paying money for a game and you're not allowed to criticize it, okay, your $70 doesn't allow you to be cruel by just simply saying, yo, that character writing was ass, that plot made no sense whatsoever, the gameplay it's just bare bones basic bitch shit. This was a trash game made by idiots. You bought the game, you're entitled to those opinions, and then you're also entitled to hear the other stuff of people saying, no, this is great, bro, you should continue to tank your industry by making more of this slop. It's just wild how thin-skinned just developers at large have become. But yes, he addresses the issues as diverse as players celebrating layoffs to the kind of persistent personal harassment and threats it can result in the courts having to get involved. Cite them. Cite your sources, stupid. Former producer makes clear he's not talking about folk criticizing a game they paid good money for, or telling others they don't like it, which feels like it doesn't necessarily really need saying. But I guess you have to be explicit about this stuff on the internet. Well, yeah, exactly, because, okay, cool, you want to go ahead and say, yeah, if you have opinion about the game, that's totally fine, but all of these personal attacks, hey, if you want to point out that, I can't believe we have to, we're at a point now where we have to delineate between the two types of criticism, go ahead and take your own fucking advice on this one, because guess what? I'd imagine you can continue to say, all of this stuff is really no personal attacks. Okay, cool, we'll just go ahead and cite one example of this. Go ahead. Just pull up one example. Oh, wait, you can't. You're just enacting a virtual straw man in order to bolster your already wafer-thin opinion on things. Go ahead and do it. Darrah's issue is the fans feeling they have a right to target random developers who work at a studio behind a given title, even when you don't know the circumstances that resulted in the thing you're being mad at. Again, one example of this happening. If you're mad at if you're mad at a Ubisoft game, says Darrah, be mad at Ubisoft. Express your anger. Yeah, don't go to specific people responsible for certain decisions that they made. Okay, if you're mad at the art direction, if you're mad at the inconsistent art direction, okay, by having Chinese infrastructure is supposedly in feudal Japan, don't get mad at the art department. Just get mad at Ubisoft. Just get mad at Yves Guillemot, who is too busy trying to, infuse DEI, that he doesn't really have anything specifically to do with anything going on with Assassin's Creed Shadows. Get mad at Ubisoft. Just try to scattershot your criticism. Don't get specific with it, because when you hold people accountable for their terrible decisions and their terrible work, that makes them feel bad, and we don't want that. You cross a line when you start being cruel about it. You don't need to go out of your way to cause harm to other people because of a video game. Bro, you're just talking bullshit at this point in time. If somebody's bad at their job, fucking let them hang for it. Now, speaking of somebody who's really bad at their game, somebody who ended up jumping ship, somebody who you were apparently in control of overseeing their terrible decisions, somebody that we could point to specifically who ended up inserting one of the most insufferable characters, not just in Dragon Age history, in all of gaming. A self-insert to end all self-inserts in trash. But Corrine, I'm trans, therefore everything I write about needs to be trans Busche. Ended up jumping ship a couple of days before it was announced that Ubisoft was going to be laying off just about everybody responsible for that dumpster fire that was the Veilguard. Ended up somewhat recently, within the past couple of weeks, getting hired at Wizards of the Coast, and then their name popping up on an employee registry for Skeleton Key Games, which is, a stone's throw away from potentially making Baldur's Gate 4, which had everybody collectively rolling their eyes, knowing how successful to this very day Baldur's Gate 3 still is, going, oh great, he's just hopping from franchise to franchise, killing things off. But no, Wizards of the Coast, there's an insider there that says Corrine Busche reportedly not working on Baldur's Gate 4. That's totally fine. There's other franchises at Wizards of the Coast that she can go ahead and screw up. That'll be fine, right guys? In the latest twist surrounding Dragon Age of Veilguard's director Corrine Busche moving to Wizards of the Coast, new information reveals that Busche is not working on Baldur's Gate 4, but as some rumors suggested, instead, according to YouTuber Smash JT, Busche is leading the revival of a long-abandoned Dungeons and Dragons project under codename Dante. Yeah, no, that totally makes sense, because we've seen what has happened with certain monster guides and other books with D&D recently, and it's like, yeah, no, that totally makes sense. I can't wait to have a humanized orc story, or how a goblin, just tries to live their authentic life by just, shacking up with a dwarf, putting on a wig and pretending to be a dwarf. I'm sure that'll be fucking super compelling. Smash JT shared insights from a recent video call with a trusted, verified insider at Wizards of the Coast. During the hour-long conversation, the source provided direct evidence via an internal company email confirming Busche's role on Dante. The email, shown over a private screen share, highlighted that Busche was brought on to helm the project, which had initially been shelved after a troubled development cycle under Hidden Path Entertainment. So, okay, bringing over somebody who was also responsible for the troubled development cycle that cost the guts of a decade, a full reboot or two in the form of Dragon Age the Veilguard, previously the Dreadwolf, a troubled process, so much so that Corrine Busche wasn't even the same person that began development on that game, and you decided, this is the person that we need to just, clear up this muddied situation. Good job, Wizards. Dante was once envisioned as a groundbreaking D&D title with ambitions to rival open-world RPG giants like Skyrim. Everybody wants to be like the tallest midget out there. Skyrim's not a good game, guys. Okay, I'm sorry to burst everybody's bubble. It has the depth of a puddle, but the breadth of an ocean. It has a lot of shit to do, but none of it's fucking memorable. It is the quintessential buggy disaster saved by modding, and only continues to be popular because you can turn a dragon into Thomas the fucking Tank Engine. It's a disaster of a game, and I'm tired of people holding it up as just this stalwart of gaming. It sucks. Skyrim hate over for a second. Go play Oblivion, go play Daggerfall, go play Morrowind, for Christ's sakes. All of those are better games. Despite significant funding and years of development, the project struggled to move beyond the early prototype phase. According to Smash JT's source, Dante became bogged down in mismanagement and creative disagreements. And you looked over to the person holy shit, you looked at the person overseeing the Veilguard and thought, yeah, that's our solution out there. What the fuck? This is so goddamn stupid. So, hey, Mark, you want to criticize, you're not criticizing the right people, but in this case, how are you going to go ahead and polish this turd? If this is the idiot that's going to be in charge of a project that has been, stuck in development hell, are we criticizing the right people, or did our $70 not entitle us to that opinion, you absolute toilet licker? So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it, and take care, everyone, and God damn it, man, gaming's in a tough spot. See you later.